The views expressed, opinions given, and any communication made between the hosts and guests of What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Para-X Radio, EMC Network, or all services that play this show. The hosts and services are not responsible for the actions of their guests, and the original rights of all intellectual property is retained by the creator, and all work is used with either permission or Creative Commons license. The show is for entertainment purposes only. I'm horror author T. Fox Dunham.
And I'm horror author and filmmaker Phil Thomas.
And tonight we're asking you,
what are you afraid of? Philadelphia's horror home with hosts T. Fox Dunham and Phil Thomas.
After a 2-week pause, we're back.
It seems longer than that.
It was. Actually, maybe it was like 3 weeks.
I think it might have been 3 weeks.
Because I had just done episode 81, which was Writers of the South.
Mm-hmm, right.
We had some very nice writers on there. It was more of a fiction episode.
I think it was 3 weeks, actually.
Yeah, I guess it was. It's been a crazy couple weeks. You know, we had a little sabbatical there.
Yeah.
You were taking care of your mom, and I was dealing with some health stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I got to thank Para-X, though. Rebecca Brumble was really kind about letting me take the sabbatical and very supportive.
That's good.
So thank you so much to Rebecca.
Thank you very much.
And Barbara Duncan over there at the Paranormal View.
Yeah, they gave us a pass.
Yeah, they were really kind about that. I was trying to figure out things to do, like an anthology of ghost stories or something to sort of get in there, because I couldn't really edit the show. I couldn't really hear it. It was rough. And
yeah, you were hurting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You were. But you know, we are back now.
Yeah, things are stabilizing.
And this is episode 82.
Yeah.
Halfway to Halloween.
Which is your favorite second time of the year.
That's because what's better than having a halfway to Halloween holiday in the spring when you have still the summer to look forward to? Mm-hmm. People actually celebrate this too.
Do they really?
They do. It's actually a thing.
What do they do?
They dress up in costumes. They have halfway to Halloween parties. Mm-hmm. Certain clubs host different events. Like, I mean, if anyone goes online and Googles it, you'll see that certain clubs and venues, they'll actually have halfway to Halloween parties.
Halloween parties, where it's a Halloween party.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I know, right? And then people dress up in costumes. They do all the Halloween fare. Yeah. Some apple bobbing. Yeah. You know?
I mean, we needed less in the summer or in the spring, but it's still... I mean, of course, we need it in October when it's getting cold and things are dying and it's saw wind, but it'd be nice, I mean, just to enjoy the horror of it.
Yeah.
You know, that fun horror, some horror movies. And, you know, I'd realized it was halfway to Halloween, I would have watched some zombie movies.
Yeah, you should have. I mean, just to commemorate it, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's funny because, you know, halfway to Halloween comes at a time when everything's rejuvenating and we're getting warmer weather.
Yeah,
spring is in the air, and then when actual Halloween comes, everything's dying. So I did actually celebrate a little bit.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit. I watched The Howling.
Okay.
For like a little Halloween thing, and I watched a little bit of Carpenter's Halloween.
Okay. Yeah.
On
Jones in a
the
bit
30th.
there. Huh.
Yeah. A little bit of it. I normally wouldn't do that, but it was on that day, so and. I won't watch any of it again until
you got to save it. Yeah, I do that too. I'll save the horror movies for October. There's a new Day of the Dead movie out.
Okay.
That I saw. It came out to rent, and now it's available on Netflix.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. But apparently, it's about sort of half zombie, half human who's leading the hordes of the dead.
Wow.
So I'm going to check that one out.
That's great. Yeah.
And The Quiet Place sounds really good.
That does look good. Yeah, that does sound good. Yeah.
John Krasinski did that.
Yeah. Isn't his
It's his wife, yeah.
Emily Blunt, right?
Right.
Yeah. Looks like a good movie.
I hear that people have to be so quiet in the theater because there's no noise in the movie that people are not taking snacks in with them, or if they take a snack in with them, they're refusing to eat it because the movie's quiet all the time.
Oh, wow. Really?
And so everybody has to be quiet in the theater because you can hear every single noise, every cough, people breathing, and it's actually created some tension.
Really?
In the theater, people are terrified to like put a piece of popcorn in their mouth.
Crunch, crunch, crunch. They draw attention to themselves. Everyone looks over at them. Well, I gotta keep that in mind if I go see that in the theater. To make sure not to get any kind of snacks that are noisy.
Yeah.
No noisy snacks. Maybe I'll get Twizzlers or something. They're pretty quiet.
People aren't used to quiet movies.
No, explosions and loud.
It's like that scene in The Last Jedi where she rides the ship into the Imperial mothership, and it's all silent.
Yeah,
remember?
it is.
And people were freaking out because they thought the movie had broken, and they were demanding their money back.
Really?
It's kind of like, no, it's just silence, people. You don't.
It's just it happens. Oh my goodness! Was that the Princess Leia Mary Poppins
That's the
scene?
one.
Yeah,
right around there.
Floats over.
She uses her force powers,
looking like she's holding an invisible umbrella. Yeah. I have no comment on that scene, but yeah.
But speaking of movies, I did break free of my house arrest. Physical house arrest. I haven't actually been arrested recently. But I actually broke out to go see a matinee of Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah, oh yeah?
Great film.
Yeah?
You know, I'm very critical about it too. Like, I go in there, paying money and investing time and energy, and it hurts to sit in those seats. So I go in there with a critical mind. I'm not giving it a pass.
Mm-hmm, right.
And it was great.
Yeah.
They did it, like, my friend Michael Garrett, he said that they managed all the moving parts well.
Right.
Because there were a lot of moving parts to it.
Okay.
A lot of different scenes going on. And it reminded me a lot of Lord of the Rings.
All right.
It was that epic.
Wow.
That's
That's a pretty epic film then. Because Lord of the Rings, when I think of epic, that's the first franchise that comes to mind.
Right. It was that epic. And of course, it's a two-parter.
Oh, right.
So you get this huge story going on about the end of the universe, basically, or the half the universe with Thanos and all that. And I'm not a huge Marvel fan.
Okay.
But I got into it. I started watching all the Marvel films I had not seen, and I was enjoying Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians is really my favorite.
Yeah, I love Guardians.
My favorite. It is the funniest.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Drax cracks me up in the second one, with his obvious humor.
Now, I don't want to get into a debate, but if you had to pick Marvel or DC?
Okay, that's a tough one. As I tell my wife all the time, and she agrees, in this house we're DC.
Okay.
I have to admit, but it's DC on television, Marvel in the theater.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I liked Justice League. I enjoyed the new one that came out when they came together. And they do something that Marvel doesn't, where Marvel tries to keep everything in a realistic context,
right.
like Jessica Jones or Daredevil. It's kind of like what if superheroes lived in reality.
Right.
DC goes for it and just says this is a fantasy epic.
Right.
In the design and in the artwork and in the way the characters are. It's above life.
Right. Yeah. I love DC.
Yeah, I like it too. I like the Flash.
Flash is good. I thought Wonder Woman was good.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's pretty good.
That was really good. Yeah. The Supermans.
Yeah, well,
I like the old ones, the Christopher Reeve ones. Those are the ones I like.
They've been showing a lot of those on Sci-Fi Channel because of the release of Krypton.
Oh, okay.
Krypton's pretty good.
Is it good?
Yeah, Krypton's not bad.
And what channel's that on?
That's on Sci-Fi.
It's on Sci-Fi?
Wednesday nights.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be on Hulu eventually.
I don't have
Netflix too.
Because I don't have Sci-Fi, unfortunately.
Yeah, Krypton is all the story of Superman's grandfather.
Okay.
On Krypton itself and the destruction of the planet and the death of Superman in the past. And I've enjoyed it.
Okay.
I've enjoyed it. But the other one I really like is Legion.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen Legion?
No, I'm very aware of it, though.
Legion is... blows your mind. Blows your mind. It's just so original and well done, and it's on acid.
Okay.
Like, there was, like, the one scene in the beginning where the main character and this evil, I'm not going to give it away, evil psychic demon, basically, they're having a telepathic contest in some sort of détente, and they're doing it as a dance contest in a club.
Okay.
As this metaphor. Wow. So they both break into these, like, dance fights. It's insane.
I'll have to check that out.
It's the first season's all on Hulu.
Have you seen Future Man?
Not yet. You were telling me about it.
Yeah, I was wondering if you watched it yet.
It's on my list. I have like 2 more days of Stars left, and I want to see American Gods.
Okay.
I just don't know if I'm going to have the time to do that.
I gotcha, yeah.
Just so much to see.
I know. There's a lot out there nowadays. Mm-hmm. This is pretty much like the golden age of television.
It really is. That's what they say. Now, speaking of cool movies, that we got contacted by a writer-director out in Minnesota by the name of Miah Allsman. And he did a movie with Green Shelf Productions. He was a writer-director of a movie called Helsing, Demon Warrior. They're playing on Van Helsing,
right.
And I watched the short film they did, and it's actually really well done.
Yeah.
You would appreciate it.
Yeah.
I watched the content the site and watched it today. And it's a lot of fun. We'll have a link for it on the website as soon as I can update the website. I'm kind of like 2 shows behind. I need to get into it more. Right. But he's running an Indiegogo at www.indiegogo.com project/dan-helsing-demon-warrior-horror-comedy-movie hashtag and he's raising money for this full version. I think people should give it to him because he can actually do good with it.
Yeah. If someone makes a good short film, that's their calling card, and if it's good and it's well done, you know that what they're capable of doing with a feature production. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, by all means, go check him out.
Yeah, go check him out
and give him some money and fund his project, please.
Dan Helsing, Demon Warrior, Green Shelf Productions.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was fun, and I hope he can raise some money. I mean, we can't give any money, obviously. We're poor authors, but we can insist that other people do.
Right.
If you like good art, you got to get out there and pay for it anymore.
I know you do. Hey, if it's good, I don't mind paying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this is episode 82, halfway to Halloween, and we are going to take a pause because we've got another ghost story called The Pink Knight Civil War Hospital on What Are You Afraid of? Horror and Paranormal Show.
Pink Night at the Civil War Hospital. Written by Kerri Thomas, author of The Haunting of a Family. From her website, crankyhag.com. Read by David Walton. I worked in a nursing home that was once an old Civil War hospital. I've written before that for me it holds the #1 spot for the most haunted place in South Carolina. There is so much I could say about this place, even though I only worked there for about 6 months. One of the more disturbing things was the elevator. Because there were 2 floors, sometimes the staff were required to use the elevator, especially the kitchen staff when taking or picking up meal trays from floor to floor. The elevator would mysteriously break down, on occasion trapping whomever was inside for an undetermined amount of time. It could be for 2 minutes or for 2 hours. As a rule, no one was allowed to use it once maintenance was gone for the night, as no one would be there to work on the elevator to get it running again, should it break down. In fact, there was an incident where one of the maintenance men used it to bring his cart down from the 2nd floor, and he was trapped for about 2 hours. Just as suddenly as it stopped, the elevator started up again and released him. "Aren't you afraid to use it?" I asked one of the kitchen workers one morning, as she prepared to load the elevator with a cart full of breakfast trays. "Nah, I've been stuck before," she answered. "I just said out loud that I needed to get the food upstairs to the patients before it got cold, and next thing I know, it started working again." While maintenance insisted the problem was something electrical, she was of the belief it was the ghostly wanderers that caused the mysterious breakdowns. The last night I worked there was graveyard shift. I was walking to a patient's room when I saw a man standing in the doorway of a room. He was looking right at me and followed me with his eyes the whole way past him. He was just standing there with his crutches, watching me with a lot of curiosity, so I greeted him. I felt something was out of place with this man when I stopped briefly and asked him, "Are you having a hard time sleeping?" He didn't answer. Knowing that most of our patients have sleeping pills ordered, I offered, "Would you like me to bring you something for sleep?" He was about 3 feet away from me, but he continued to stare at me and not answer. I promised I'd check in on him on my way back to the desk, However, while I was in the other room, it occurred to me what was out of place. The patient had no legs, and not through amputation either. There were no legs there, only his upper torso from about the knees up. I shuddered when I went past his room back to the desk. I asked the CNA about it when she came up front. She laughed and said, "You must be talking about the soldier. Several have seen him standing in his doorway just watching everyone. He had crutches?" "Yes, he was on crutches," I answered numbly. "That was him." I called the nurse, Hetty, from the nurse's station down the hall. I guess I was visibly shaken because she came right away. "Oh, it happens all the time," Hetty said. "You wouldn't believe the things I've seen in this place, especially that second floor. It's the worst floor in the place for ghosts and haunts." I agreed. The second floor was so terrible that I almost clocked out and went home one night because they tried to assign that floor to me and I refused. I reminded her of that night, as Hetty was the one who saved me and agreed to work the floor for me. Yeah, I know. She asked if I knew about Pink Night at the nursing home. Hetty explained that it happens whenever it rains. She chuckled when I said that I had not heard of it before. That was about to change, though. Several minutes later, we heard the first indication of a thunderstorm coming, and shortly after, we heard the rain as it poured down from the heavens. Hetty, who was leaned at the desk counter with her hands on her hips, stood straight and walked to where she could see the hallway in full view. With another light chuckle, she said, "Michelle, come here. I want you to see Pink Night." I stood and walked to my co-worker, who turned me around and pointed me down the hallway. There had to have been 12 to 14 different spectres roaming around in the hall, from that back stairwell all the way up to about 5 feet from where we stood. Some were full-bodied apparitions, most were partial or just a head and neck. I don't think any of them left the hallway other than to go in and out of the rooms. The most uncanny thing about them was the fact that they were all a transparent pink, hence the name, Pink Night. If you enjoyed this ghost story, please check out the author's book on Amazon.com, The Haunting of a Family by Kerri Thomas, and her website, www.thecrankyhack.com, for more of her stories.
Are you in the Bucks County area, second weekend of June, and in need of a bit of spooky? What Are You Afraid of? Paranormal Show will be at the first Paranormal Expo at Selma in Norristown, PA. Special guest, P.D. Kazak, horror author and winner of the Bram Stoker Award. Selma Mansion is one of Bucks County's most haunted sites, where guests see candles burning in the windows, spirits moving in the night, and hear the voices of the dead. Come visit horror authors T. Dunham and Phil Thomas and P.D. Kazak on June 9th and 10th at 1304 West Harry Street, Norristown, PA. Stay for the cadre of speakers and workshops with famous ghost hunters and paranormal authors. Check out their website at www.whatdoyourafraidofpodcast.com for ticket information. Children under 12 are free. Paranormal investigation, $40, sold separately. Psychics, ghost hunters, storytellers, and maybe if you will pass through to the other side. Oh, and fill in Fox and PD. Oh my.
Mercy, a new horror medical thriller from author T. Fox Dunham, published by Bloodbound Books. Based on the author's horrific battle with a rare form of lymphoma that involved intense chemotherapy and radiation, Fox turns the horror of his experience into terror on the page.
William Saint is dying of cancer. On most days, death seems like a humane alternative to the treatment. Stricken with fever, William is rushed to Mercy, notorious as a place to send the sickest of the poor and uninsured to be forgotten, and finds the hospital in even worse condition than his previous visit.
Willie's memories faded. He grabbed his sack head, the sack head of the scarecrow, picking at the exposed chicken wire to hold them in. However, the memories fell out of the holes in his face. They wormed and crawled from the leather flesh and the old clothing of the scarecrow, then squirmed and wiggled down his body.
The grounds are unkempt, the foundation is cracking, and like the wild mushrooms sprouting from the fissures of decay around it, something is growing inside the hospital. Something dark.
Fangoria gives Mercy 3.5 out of 4 skulls. Dunham has channeled his many brushes with the other side into the exquisitely rendered, lyrical, supernatural hospital thriller Mercy.
It's feeding on the sickness and sustaining itself on the staff, changing them, and now it wants Willie.
Come now, Mr. Saint. Just a little more of that sweet milk. So salty and so good. You won't miss it. And we ever do so like our delicacies here at Mercy Hospital.
Part medical horror, part supernatural suspense, Mercy is a hard-hitting fever dream of a novel. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Tim Wagner, author of The Way of All Flesh and Eat the Night. Available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores everywhere in both print and digital versions.
Life is an addiction.
Let go. Let it all burn.
I found it at last! Marla's sacred cauldron. This is the legendary artifact that has been whispered about in hushed tones for hundreds of years, and now it's mine! All
mine! Who dares defile the sanctity of my castle walls? Step away from the cauldron, you impertinent, muddy-mettled maltworm.
Never! I've spent half my lifetime trying to discover your age-old secret of stirring the cauldron!
Oh, for Merlin's sake, that's no deep, dark secret. Just tune into the ParaX Radio Network Thursday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern for more cauldron stirring than you can shake a wand at.
Oh, well, in that case, I guess I don't need to take up any more of your time, so I guess I'll be going!
Not just yet. We've got a little unfinished business to take care of.
That's Stirring the Cauldron with Marla Brooks every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the ParaX Radio Network.
It's fun to be back.
Yes, it is.
I missed, I was getting stressed with it. I mean, doing 3 shows a month is hard.
It is.
Especially when we're juggling the kind of content we are.
Right.
And we've got some cool plans coming up. We're going to be at the Selma Paranormal Expo.
Right.
On June 9th and June 10th. Information up at the website at www.whatayouafraidofpodcast.com, and that's over in Norristown,
right?
Down here. Yeah. We'll be there Saturday and Sunday, and that'll be fun. That'll be fun, and we're trying to get down the shore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got a few places I'm going to talk to down in Wildwood and Cape May.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In particular, there's a hotel down there called the Mocummer, I believe, and they actually host a paranormal group that does tours in Cape May.
Okay.
And I'm going to see if, I'm going to check Wildwood out, and I'm going to check Cape May out, and I'll see who wants to host us.
That'd be great.
We'll get down there and do a show.
Oh, God, yeah.
And if we do it at the hotel, we can actually stay at the hotel.
Yeah.
It's a nice hotel. I mean, it's not...
all their hotels on there are really nice, yeah. Have you ever done a Cape May Ghost tour?
No, not yet.
I've done a couple before. Mm-hmm. It's been a while, though. But, yeah, they're pretty fun. Mm-hmm. They're pretty fun. I don't know where exactly we'll record from or broadcast from.
It's just trying to find a place.
Yeah.
So I just have to get down there and dig, and I want to do it in person.
Right, yeah.
So hopefully in 2 weeks, Alice and I will get down and spend the day. We were down, before I got too sick, we were in Ocean City again for the day.
Right.
And we worked down there at the Starbucks for a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's great.
Really nice Starbucks.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying it's very well laid out. Yeah.
Over on Ferry Avenue. Oh. And apparently they were having this big parade that day. Oh. It's some kind of parade for their dogs.
Oh, a dog parade, huh?
Yeah, and they closed off Asbury Avenue, and I'm glad we noticed it because we were going to move the car to park down, the boardwalk,
right,
which was filling up, and they just closed the roads just after we left, and we came back. And do you know Eric Estrada?
Yeah.
He was the Grand Marshal of the parade.
Was he?
So
that's cool.
We saw him drive by, and I'm like, oh, wow, Eric Estrada, And I took some pictures and stuff, and he was hosting this Mr. America Seniors competition that night at the convention center. But I took some pictures of him, and then that night when I got home, I tweeted it. The show tweet and said, we saw Eric Estrada in in Ocean City, and I said, I wonder if he's got any ghost stories. And he retweeted us.
Really?
To all his fans.
Really?
So all of a sudden we had 30 retweets of this Eric Estrada.
Wow. You know what's interesting? When I was a kid, about 5-6 years old, I had a Chips. I had the Chips action figures of Eric Estrada, and I forget the other cop's name. I forget his name. But
yeah.
I think their names were Ponch and John.
Yeah, it was William Shatner.
Was it William? No, it wasn't.
Well, William Shatner was in it, though.
Yeah, he was in it.
He was in it, right.
But I had those action figures, and I had the motorcycle, the little motorcycle and stuff. Because I used to like Chips as a kid, and I was, oh man, I mean, 5 years old. I'm talking, I was real young,
but Eric Estrada knows we exist.
We're old, Yeah,
so, we're getting up there. Yeah, do what I do. Marry women 10 years younger.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that really works. But it was fun.
Keeps you young, right?
It was fun, and now this is cool. And we don't have much of this anymore, but to bring in the spring, we've got a little. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Clown news.
Oh,
please, Mr. Clown in the Sky, play that jingle you love.
Clown news.
So this comes from San Antonio, Texas, right? And if I did something like this, they would mean divorce. Just want to put that out right now. This would be divorce. So this guy, Vincent Alexander, it was their paper anniversary 1 year later, and he wanted to give his wife a nice photo of them, for a frame, and with a nice frame on it, because it was paper, and paper's photo, not anymore, but So now at his wedding, he wanted to bring a clown who would stand at the bar and make balloon animals during cocktails, and she said no, obviously.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, no, I don't think Allison would have attended if I had tried something like that. Enjoy your wedding. I'm not going. Clown's there. So he couldn't do it, but in his mind, this prank formed. And what he did was they took these pictures outside this museum. Right, and there were like these doorways and barns and things along the museum, and he got his brother to dress up as this horrifying clown, and there's pictures on Fox News, I'll put it up on the website, with a knife in his hand, like he's about to kill them, and he got him to stand in the doorway. This wasn't Photoshop, they snuck him in. So when they took the photos, and his wife was not aware, and then when she sees the photos in the nice frame, she sees them standing in front of this barn, and right in the darkness is this horrifying looking clown with a knife ready to kill them.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. I don't know what that says about a wedding.
I don't. Yeah.
No, it's. It was his brother. Apparently, he tried to hire different clowns in the area to do it, but they all refused because their reputations have been so tarnished by the evil clown sightings.
Yeah, I don't blame them for refusing.
Yeah.
You don't need to throw gasoline on the fire.
Yeah, like we do.
Right, exactly.
Well, clown news is sort of an old chestnut for us now. It's a standard.
Yep, it is. Clown news.
Anyway, that was clown news. What are you afraid of? Paranormal Show got a little clown news in there. This is interesting. Going around there had been this video, and I sent it to you.
Yes, I saw it.
Of exorcisms happening. And it's this guy named Bob Larson. Right? He's basically a professional exorcist. He goes around to all these different churches and facilities. He does a tour where he does these exorcisms of these random people that come in. And he's got all these books he's published, including fictional books. You saw the video, right?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of the video?
Oh, it was pretty creepy, actually. Yeah.
The lady?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was like, yeah.
And he told the lady, he said that she had, the last 60 generations had been cursed by bloody human sacrifice.
Right, it was like a generational...
Yeah, he said 60 generations, which he must claim to be a psychic.
That's a lot of generations, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But his name's Bob Larson, and she did the voices. I mean, it was like, and you see this all this time, this spontaneous exorcisms, and these people and you saw these other videos of him doing it, and these people coming to these conventions claiming to be demons who try to fight him.
Right. Nope.
Like there was this one guy who claimed to be a voodoo demon. that was trying to stop him.
You think they're just messing with him?
I don't know. People's imaginations get.
Do you think they think that it's all nonsense and just want to mess with him? Or?
Yeah, some of them really believe it. And I think some of them are encouraged by him,
right?
Because there's nothing more dramatic than him fighting the devil in the audience.
Yeah.
Now I sent you another link, and this is interesting. It was called the International School of Exorcism.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
Did you see this?
Yeah, but I didn't know what it was.
He actually set up a school where he trains exorcists now. You pay. You have to submit an application, you pay, and they actually train you to be an exorcist.
Oh my God.
And I did some research into this. I'm looking at this, and I wanted to see how much it would cost.
Uh-huh.
And each course, there's like 3 main courses, and each one costs $1,000.
Wow, okay.
To take.
Okay.
So he's charging people $3,000 to train them as exorcists.
Yeah, right.
And apparently, if you pay ahead of time, you only have to pay $500.
Okay.
So do you want to go take this?
Is there any money in being an exorcist?
I don't know. Apparently there's for him.
Okay. Well, for him, yeah, he's charging people to, be board certified or something.
Yeah, board certified. Well, he said he in the facts he says, well, are we certified by any church? And he says, yes, we're certified by the Spiritual Freedom Churches, which is, he said, it's this international collection of many different faiths.
So it's recognized.
Well, let me get into some.
Okay.
All under the faith of Jesus Christ. And so I decided to look up this church. I'd never heard of it before. And it's his.
Oh, it's his.
It's the church he created to found his ministries.
Okay.
So he has verified himself.
He verified himself. He is recognized by his own church as being legitimate.
I hate to say it, but it's just, and I really want to take this course. What do you do with a course like it's so inherently dangerous? I saw a lot of other videos about people who are protesting exorcisms because they're saying that it's basically people misdiagnosing mental illness. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest cases was, do you remember the Exorcism of Emily Rose?
I remember that.
And I love the movie.
Uh-huh.
That was Tom Wilkes, right?
Yeah.
He played the priest?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was actually based on a true case. Did you know that?
I did. I remember I watched it with my girlfriend at the time, Barb. And that was the last time I've seen it, though. But I do remember it was based on a true case.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was based on a case in Bavaria, West Germany.
Okay.
Her name was Anna Elizabeth Michael.
Okay.
And she had started suffering epilepsy, frontal brain epilepsy. And she went on medication, and she eventually went into a mental hospital because she started having hallucinations. She was schizophrenic, basically. Mm-hmm. And after 5 years of treatment, she was just getting worse. And so finally the family decided she was possessed, petitioned their local bishop, who agreed to an exorcism. And after like 40 or 50 exorcisms, she died of malnutrition.
Right.
She basically starved to death. Mm-hmm. And the family was prosecuted by the German authorities. So the German authorities wanted them to be found guilty, but they actually didn't want them to be punished.
Okay.
Because it was a matter of faith.
All right.
Right. And of course the bishop came out later and said we had no idea she had a history of mental illness, which is completely against how the church they do research on on mental illness and stuff in the past. And so they just claimed that they weren't responsible, and it was this whole mess. And later the church came out and said she was actually mentally ill, but her grave has become a shrine of people who go to make pilgrimages.
Okay.
In West Germany. Now, they have the tapes of her exorcism. And let me play a little bit now, see if I can find some. I'll play some of the growling noises she made.
Okay.
It's scary.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard, honestly, it's like you hear the exorcism, and if people are pretending, they're pretending really well.
That's really good acting, yeah.
Yeah, it's really scary stuff.
Yeah.
The growls, and apparently she could speak in 2 different tones.
Wow.
Like 2 different voices, and it can be done, but...
What about languages? Can people speak different languages?
Apparently one of the ways of determining if you're possessed is if they speak languages they couldn't know.
They wouldn't know, right.
Latin, Aramaic.
Right.
But then, of course, a lot of these are religious families, and then you look back at their past, and a lot of them have knowledge of these languages.
Right.
The one thing I keep finding is that people who are not absorbed into the Christian faith don't generally get possessed.
Okay, that's interesting.
Unless it's another culture.
So maybe they're influenced by it.
Yeah.
There could be an outside influence.
I don't know. What do you think? Do you think demons are possessing people?
You know what? It's been talked about for thousands of years. Whether it actually there's any truth to it or not, I'm kind of not sure. I tend to say no.
Right.
I don't know if demons are really possessed. I think I don't think that people really get possessed. I think there's another explanation.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's another explanation where it's some kind of a mental disorder.
Right,
or
something
like you were
like
saying
that.
before, 500 years ago, 200 years ago, whatever, when people had some mental disorders, the first thing everyone would think, oh, they're possessed.
They're possessed, especially
the
if they're
devil's possessing them. But no. I'm just going to say no.
Well, a lot of people, even recently, have been, like, there was a Korean family that killed their mother and nearly killed their cousin who had mental disorders. And there was this case of this one woman, her daughter was acting out, so they tied her up, did all these horrible exorcisms, beat the crap out of her, and killed her.
Right.
Claiming in the name of driving out the devil.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the devil made me do it thing. I don't think so. I think they got some mental problems.
But then you and I, we kind of get these people on the show who come in and they talk about their houses being possessed by demons.
Right.
So it's like, if they can possess houses, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a gray area.
I would say 90% of the cases have probably been people with mental disorders, but maybe.
There might be some legitimate actual cases out there. You know?
I mean, I don't believe it, but I'm afraid of it.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I don't believe it, but just in case I'm wrong, I'm like a little apprehensive about it. You know?
I completely agree there.
You know what I mean? Just because I don't believe in something doesn't make it not true.
I'll post some links up at our website at www.whateverafraidofpodcast.com. You can see some of the videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
That we're talking about. You can go over and start to see the thing about exorcism, and I'm sure we'll discuss it more in the future.
Yeah.
But it's just, this school blew me away. This international school of exorcism, I couldn't believe it. It's just, what a dangerous idea.
It's so unique and odd that I just, I mean,
and the fact that he's charging $3,000 for it.
Oh my God!
I don't know if
is this guy getting any clients to do this?
Apparently he is.
Really, students are actually doing this?
He gets them at his conferences, and he sells them his books, and it's an industry.
Goodness.
It's a very clever industry.
$3,000 pop for each person. That's
to become a trained exorcist, and then they go out and and I know the Catholic Church is very strict about exorcisms and about. But these people are just running out into the neighborhood and exorcising people. It's very dangerous.
Oh my goodness!
Film's franchise.
We're in the wrong industry. We gotta open up a exorcism school.
The power of what are you afraid of compels you.
Yeah.
Like the old Richard Pryor SNL. The bed is on my foot. Do you remember that? The Halloween SNL?
The bed is on my foot.
Richard Pryor was playing the Exorcist, and it was a Halloween episode.
Oh, God, I don't think I've ever seen that.
And they were yelling, "The power of Christ compels you," and the bed was lifting up and down. "The power of Christ compels you." The bed goes down. "The bed is on my foot."
That's funny, but I've never seen it.
Oh, God, the classic old SNL Halloween.
Oh, I have to look that up. What year was that? Like early 80s?
Oh, that was 79, 81, somewhere in there. Wow. Like the Martin Short years,
that
I
era,
think.
Yeah.
No, I'll see if I can find that on YouTube for you tonight. Those classic Richard Pryor.
Steve Martin Short.
Yeah, a little bit later, like the whole
Aykroyd.
The Joe Piscopo.
Okay.
Era. That weird little era.
That is a weird little era. There was this very strange little era. Yeah, I agree.
But we're running out of time.
Right.
But before we go, we've got a great guest coming on after this. His name is Rick Gamoneda, and he is from Away From 30. That is the band that Katrina Weidman told us about.
That's right.
That she's one of the singers of.
Mm-hmm. Right.
At Away From 30. They're a local Philly band. Kind of some metal, some hard rock, and they just released their first album. And I'm going to sit down with Rick for a few minutes and ask him about his music. We're going to close the show with him and a song from him.
That's great.
It's been fun.
Very fun. Very, very nice to be back.
It is. I've missed it a little bit. I needed a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But
it's nice to take a break, but it's also nice to come back.
Yeah, it's nice to get some. We got some great stuff coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Next week, we've got Angela Thomas, the Lady Psychic.
All right.
That's going to be fun. And then we've got Reap Investigations coming on. Mm-hmm. They're the ones hosting the Paranormal Selma event. And some great stuff coming up after that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, you go enjoy Ready Player One.
Yeah.
And go see Avengers if you can.
I will. I'm definitely going to check it out.
This is episode 82, Halfway to Heaven. I'm T. Fox Dunham.
I'm Phil Thomas.
Explore the darkness.
Find out what goes bump in the night. Did you hear that?
Did you see that? What's that bright light in the sky? Oh, we so need to investigate.
Calling all witches and sensitives.
Explore the paranormal.
With host
Shauna
and Vicky
from Geeks Paranormal.
Wednesdays
at 9 Eastern,
8 Central.
Let's explore. On ParaXRadio.com.
Caliburn Press, LLC is a Madison, Wisconsin-based publishing company owned and operated by Alan Ledden. Caliburn works with talented writers, artists, editors, and marketers throughout the United States, and you can find their books through their many imprints that include Damnation Books, Eternal Press, Malaferia Press, Ciento Sordida Publishing, and Spiro Publishing. Please visit their website at sites.google.com/site/Caliburn Press LLC/home, or Google Caliburn Press to check out their growing list of titles on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and any other place fine books are sold.
Are you haunted by shadow people in the middle of the night?
Do you secretly love all things creepy and spooky, enjoying ghost stories and horror fiction from the best storytellers?
Do you have a true ghost experience you want to share, but no one will believe you?
If yes, listen to the professionals on What Are You Afraid Of? Horror Paranormal Show, Friday nights at 9 p.m. on ParaX Radio and at www.whatareyouafraidofpodcast.com.
What Are You Afraid Of on ParaX?
Our creepy and demented hosts are on call to provide you with all your spooky needs with true ghost stories, interviews, indie music, and new horror fiction. We are ready to scare you.
ParaX. In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the GRAWX Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the GRAWX Podcast. Listen to it at GRAWXpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com. You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
On What Are You Afraid Of? Horror and Paranormal Show, we have had the pleasure and privilege of speaking to some wonderful indie bands, authors, musicians, poets, artists, and all sorts of individuals with great creative talents. And tonight is no different. In October, we had Katrina Weidman on the show from Paranormal Lockdown, and she is part of a band called Away From 30, which is actually based in Philadelphia, where Philly's home for horror. Away From 30 is a female-fronted four-piece band from southeastern Pennsylvania. Formed in April of 2016, the band chose not to perform shows for over a year in order to write, record, and develop an alternative sound that is different than today's rock bands. Away From 30 is fronted by renowned paranormal investigator and television host Katrina Weidman and features southeastern Pennsylvania musician Rick Gamoneda on guitar, AJ Labresco on bass, and Joe Green on drums. The band recently released its first EP, The Forgotten, with singles Running Away and The Forgotten. And tonight I'm on with Gamoneda. How are you, sir?
I'm fantastic tonight. How are you, Fox?
I'm loving the weather, loving that it's spring. We're getting back into the show after sabbatical, and it's great that we could have you on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What does Away From 30 mean?
Well, that's an interesting question. We get that often. And as much as I'd like to answer it, it's kind of fun to just leave it out there and let people gather what it means.
Oh, a mystery. Oh, starting off. So, all right, so permission to treat the witness as hostile. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So how did this band come together?
The band came together. Me and Joe had been in bands before previously. Went through a couple different singers, doing cover stuff, and decided to start doing original stuff. Went through a couple singers again, had ads out on Craigslist, and Katrina had responded back to us. She came down, auditioned, and it was a match made perfect. And she came aboard. We started looking for a bass player. We found AJ on Craigslist, and it's been, music, as they say, ever since.
Did you have a lot of people who responded to the ad, or, I mean, did you do a lot of interviews? Did you sort of find the right people and put them together, or?
Yeah, we had a lot of people that came down, and what we would do is we'd have a couple songs, send them an idea that we had, and see what they can come up with. And when Kat came down, it was just, we just knew. Joe and I looked at each other and was like, yeah, that's it. She's got the sound, she's got the look, and she's got a great attitude and fit in completely musically speaking. And we just gel so well together.
You guys have a great sound that's very symmetric, and, you're right, you do come together nicely. How would you describe your style?
Definitely alternative hard rock, even venturing a little bit into a heavy sound, but pulling it back into the alternative genre. So like the type of riffs that I write are definitely alternative with a bit of a heavy sound. And then you have Kat's sound that comes in, and, we don't like to judge ourselves and let other people make judgment for us. But a lot of people have said she sounds like Pat Benatar or Hailstorm, stuff like that, which is great. I mean, that's great feedback that we've gotten. So it's kind of interesting because we come from all different musical genres. Joe's into like Five Finger Death Punch and Dropkick Murphys, and my favorite bands are R.E.M., Kiss, and Stone Temple Pilots, and AJ likes a lot of the alternative stuff, and Kat, she's a Tori Amos fan.
All bands I like too, so I appreciate your selections of sources. What is the process like writing a song for you guys?
Well, it comes in pretty organically. What'll happen is I'll come up with an idea, I'll have a little riff, or I'll be just warming up for practice, and Kat will go, wait, what is that? What is that? And I'll start playing it again, and all of a sudden she'll start singing on something, and it'll turn into a song. Or I'll come to practice with an idea that maybe I sat there with at home because I was noodling around, and bring it to practice, and then Kat will be like, oh, I really like that, and the band starts writing around it. We record every rehearsal that we do. So what will happen is I'll take those recordings, send them to everybody out so everybody can listen, and they can add their parts in. We come back together, and next thing you know, we have a song. That's what happened with The Forgotten. I was sitting home one day, kind of angry, and I sat down and I said, I'm going to play guitar for a little bit, and I came up with that riff. And the next day we had practice, so I brought it into practice, and we sat down and they listened to it, and all of a sudden we started playing the song together. It just came together completely organic. Kat started singing on that. Practice a week later, she had the lyrics done. It was a done song within a week. It was crazy for that song.
So you guys are basically pulling all your strengths.
Exactly. We just let it happen organically. We don't try to force it. Even for myself, I hate forcing to write a song. I feel like it comes out horrible when you force it. So let it happen naturally. You have an idea, you throw it out, and see what happens.
How long have you been playing guitar?
About 21 years.
Why did you start playing guitar? What's your personal inspiration for your music?
Well, I had a friend that played guitar. I heard him on the phone. He's like playing these different riffs. I'm like, that's really cool. I want to do that. And I had this acoustic guitar that was given to me when I was 8 years old. And at 8 years old, I broke a string on it, thinking I broke the guitar. And I put the guitar in the closet until I was 16. So I put it away, never to touch it again until I heard my friend playing guitar, and he taught me a riff. The first song I ever learned was Santa Monica by Everclear. And I could only play the one single note, but as soon as I was able to do that, that just grabbed me. And I had another friend who played bass, and I was at his house, and his brother played guitar. And I was like, Brian, you got to let me try your brother's guitar. He's like, no, he'll kill me. I was like, please, I really want to see what an electric guitar is like, because I only have this child's acoustic. So he says, don't tell my brother. So I'm going to get in trouble for this one if he ever hears it. He brings it out. I start playing Santa Monica. That day I went out and I went to a music store and bought my first guitar. At that point, I'd started going into concerts. I was about 16, 17 years old. I went and I saw Kiss. And I remember being in the seats, pointing at Ace Frehley and saying, I want to play like that one day. And that was it for me.
Without the tongues, probably.
Yeah, Gene Simmons with the tongue, I couldn't do it. Doesn't work for me.
You've got this band going. I know you've just got this album out. You got the EP out, and you got the songs out, and you're building it up. Where would you like to see your band in 5 years?
That's a great question. In 5 years, definitely would like to see us on the road, hopefully releasing our third or fourth album at that point, and having fans that enjoy our music and enjoy our performances and really being able to relate to the music and earning a career off of it.
Any advice for our audience? I'm sure we've got a lot of audience members out there that are trying to create their own music and form their own bands. Do you have any advice for them on how to make a band and how to be successful?
Absolutely. Making a band, the most important part is how the band gels. If the band can't function as a unit outside of the music space, the band will never function at all. You need that familiarity. You need that family feeling in order to have that music become organic and be fun. Because when you have a bad apple in the band or someone who has an ego or you have issues, be it anything, alcohol, drugs, relationship issues, it brings it into the band, brings a negative energy. You want to keep everything positive and keep it gelling and let everything happen naturally and organically. And that, I believe, is what makes a successful band. I've been in numerous bands, and this is the one that's really felt like I'm home.
So are you in the Philadelphia area then?
About an hour outside of Philadelphia.
Have you played in like some Philadelphia venues, like area venues around Pennsylvania?
We've played down in Sweeney's, and we've played down in Ben Salem. I've played some Philadelphia gigs before in some places that aren't even there anymore. So I've played the area. Originally, growing up in outside New York City, played a lot in North Jersey when I was younger.
Your website is www.awayfrom30, all one word with the 30 at the end, .com, and you can find a link to that and some band information and photographs up at our website at www.whatareyoufraidofpodcast.com. So, on the side, I know Kat is on Paranormal Lockdown. She was on Paranormal State before that. Do you do any ghost investigating? Do you do like any paranormal stuff?
I do not. I find it truly intriguing and always love hearing the stories from Kat, but I have not done, although she continues to promise us she's going to take us on some sort of hunt soon.
Right, we've been talking to her about her Atherton group, and so hopefully we'll get her back on the show. Can you tell us a little more about the other members of the band?
Yeah, Joe and I have been in a band together for the past 5 years. Him and I, as AJ, who's the bass player, likes to say, are musical soulmates. Joe and I just gel. Him and I know exactly what the next step is going to be. I can come up with an idea, Joe will play, and he'll play exactly what I was thinking, and vice versa when I come up with a riff. And then you have AJ that really fits in right in the pocket. He just fills everything out organically.
We are going to play The Forgotten tonight. Could you tell us a little bit about this song in particular?
Yeah, I think Kat could probably speak better on the lyrics, but musically speaking, as I had mentioned earlier, it was a song I came home. I was coaching soccer, was a little frustrated because I'd never done soccer before. This is a really funny story. Didn't know anything about soccer. I got sucked into being a head coach for a 5-year-old soccer team, and it was really frustrating because I didn't know much about it. I came home and I said, I just need to sit down and play. And I started writing that riff, that intro riff. And it just turned into the song. And then Kat came up with the lyrics, and they're absolutely incredible. And you'd have to talk to her more to find out exactly what the lyrics mean to her.
Oh, we shall do that. I'm sure we'll have her back on in a few months as soon as she's back from her travels and settled.
Yep. It's definitely my favorite song to play. I love rocking out to it.
Listen to all the songs. It's definitely my favorite too. It's the one I know you guys sent me several songs, and you sort of suggested The Forgotten, and I listened to them, and The Forgotten really spoke to me too. I really liked it. In fact, I suspect I'll be writing it tomorrow as part of my song list.
That's awesome.
We are going to play that now on What Are You Afraid of Paranormal Show. We have been speaking to Rick Gamoneda from the band Away From 30. Again, you can find their website at www.awayfrom30.com, and you can find links up to that information about the band at www.whatareyoufraidofpodcast.com, where you can also find our 81 previous episodes. My God, I've been doing this too long. And, all our ghost stories and our other previous musicians and other artists and our band of eccentrics and wild adventurers in the field of creativity and the paranormal. Thank you so much for being on the show, Rick.
Fox, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been a blast.
And this is The Forgotten on What Are You Afraid of Horror and Paranormal Show.
She
Gott, mich dienen Hunde.
T. Fox Dunham lives in Philadelphia with his wife Allison. He's a lymphoma survivor, cancer patient, modern bard and historian. His first book, The Street Martyr, was published by Gutter Book. A major motion picture based on the book is being produced by Throughline Films. Destroying the Tangible Illusion of Reality or Searching for Andy Kaufman, a book about what it's like to be dying of cancer, was recently released from Perpetual Motion Machine Publishing, and Fox has a story in the Stargate anthology, Points of Origin, from MGM and Fandemonium Books. Mercy was recently released by Bloodbound Books. Fox is an active member of the Harvard Association. He's been published in hundreds of short stories and articles, and his motto is Wrecking Civilization, one story at a time.
Phil Thomas resides in the suburbs of Philadelphia and is an author and filmmaker. His screenplays have been produced into feature films such as False Face and Always from Darkness that are available in major retailers such as Best Buy and Target, as well as availability on Netflix and Amazon On Demand.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of ParaX, its affiliates, or its sponsors.